Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with chapter number 3 of economics, poverty as a challenge. Now, why are we doing this chapter in economics? Do you know that this chapter, poverty, the term poverty, is the most difficult challenge which was faced by the independent India. Before the independence of our country, we all know that Britishers ruled our country and left us poor because of their industrial goods were sold in our country. Many of our country people lost their jobs who were engaged in the handicraft industry. That is why just after the independence, there was so much of poverty in our country that it has become the most important challenge. So, the most important challenge before our government was to remove this poverty. This chapter discusses about the way the poverty is seen in social science. Poverty is the concept which we are going to see through poverty line. We are going to read about what is poverty line, how is it measured. We often use the terms below poverty line and above poverty line. But do we know the meaning of this? Or what is this line? Where is this line drawn? Or who draws this line, poverty line? So that is what we are going to discuss in this chapter, along with causes of poverty and anti-poverty measures. The chapter also discusses about the concept of poverty, which has changed now into human poverty. When I ask you, any one of you, that who is a poor person? Generally, our answer would be a person who does not have the basic necessities of the life. We say that person is a poor person. But what do you mean by these basic necessities of the life? In earlier days, we used to say basic necessities means food, shelter, and clothing. But this term poverty has undergone many changes. In earlier days, the meaning of the basic necessities were only these three terms: food, shelter, and clothing. But today, if we see on the whole in our country, everybody has these three things. Then why do we say that still there is poverty in our country? Because the term poverty has undergone many changes. There is now a large definition of this poverty. A person having all these three things, food, shelter, and clothing, but not having the minimum education, even that person, we say that he is below the poverty line. If a person in today's life is not having the basic uh, clean drinking water facility, we say that person is below the poverty line. So like this, the term poverty has undergone many changes which we will be discussing during the chapter. Let's start with the introduction part. If we look around us, who we think are poor, as I asked you. In the villages, if you see in the villages, they can be landless laborers, and in the villages and the cities we see some kind of slums, juggies, which are called as. I don't know how many of you have ever seen these juggies or slums. If you go into these juggies or slums, you will see that they are hardly one room houses, small rooms. In that small room, you will see some 10 people are living, and the juggies have so much of unhygienic conditions over there. Now, these juggies belong to whom? They may be of daily wage workers who are working at a construction site, or you may see even the child workers, which we call them as the child labor. Maybe in a dhaba nearby, in a restaurant, we see a lot of child labor around us working there. We also see some children and some other people, even the elders, they are beggars with children in tatters. Small children, they don't have even the even the clothes to wear. They are barefoot. Such children you also see many times near the signals. So we see lots of poverty all around us. So if we calculate this poverty, let us see what is the amount of poverty in our country. In fact, every fourth person in India is a poor person. On an average, if we see, every fourth person in India is a poor person. This means roughly 270 million or 27 crore people in India still live in poverty as per 2011 and 12 figures. This also means that India has the largest single concentration of the poor in the world. So you can see that 27 crore people are still in poverty in our country, even after independence of so many years. That is why we say poverty is a very serious challenge in our country, which we have to eradicate, which our government is trying to eradicate. We have two stories here. Further, one story is from the urban region, that is from a city life, and one story is from a rural area. Let's these are called as case studies. So these are the two stories which will further clear the meaning of poverty to us. So the first story is of about a 33-year-old Ram Saran who works as a daily wage laborer in a wheat flour mill near Ranchi in Jharkhand. Ranchi is a city in Jharkhand. So Ram Saran works as a daily wage laborer in a small flour mill. He manages to earn around rupees 1500 a month when he finds employment, which is not often. That means he is not regularly employed. Wages are given per day. So the day he finds the work, he gets the income. So he manages to earn in a month around 1500 rupees. But the money is not enough to sustain his family of six. In his family, there are six members. So whatever he earns is not enough for the six members of his family. The six members includes his wife, he himself, and his four children who are aged between 12 and 6 months. That means all the children are below the age of 14 years. He has to send not only this, now he has further burden upon him. He has to send money even to home to his old parents who live in a village near Ramgarh. His father, a landless laborer, because his father doesn't have any work and is old also, he depends on Ram Saran and his brother who lives in Hazaribagh for sustenance. Ram Saran, where does he live? He is living in a city, but see his condition. He lives in a one-room rented house in a crowded basti. Basti means where the juggis are there, in the outskirts of the city. He is not living in the heart of the city of Ranchi. He is staying outside the city where there is a crowded basti or a juggi. It's a temporary shack. It's not, again, not a strongly built juggi. It's a temporary shack built of bricks and clay tiles. His wife Santa Devi works as a part-time maid in a few houses and manages to earn another rupees 800. So Ramsaran earns 1500 and wife Santa Devi earns 800. They manage a meager meal of dal and rice twice a day. What do they eat? They eat only rice and dal, that too only twice a day. But there is never enough for all of them. That means they only have that much which can fill their stomach partially. Not that they have left outs at all. They don't have any left out of at all. His elder son, who is just 12 years old, works as a helper in a tea shop to supplement the family income and earns another rupees 300. See, only 300 rupees he earns per month. This small child of 12 years of age in a tea shop, while his 10-year-old daughter, so this boy is of 12 years and there is one daughter who is of 10 years. What is she doing? The 10 years old daughter takes care of the rest of the younger siblings. None of the children are going to school. So out of the 4 children, nobody is going to the school. They have only 2 pairs of hand-me-down clothes each. They have only 2 pairs of clothes. One they wear and one they wash. New ones are brought only when the old ones completely become unwearable. Completely, when the old ones completely are torn, then only they wear then only they buy the new ones. That too not from the big malls or anywhere, from some small shops they buy. Shoes are a luxury, so they don't wear any shoes at all. The younger kids are undernourished. The two who are younger, less than 10 years of age, they don't get proper nutritious food, so they are undernourished and they have no access to health care when they fall ill. They can't even afford to go to a doctor when they are not well. So that is the story of Ram Saran's family. We have here now another story from a village, rural area or a village. This story is of Lakha Singh. Lakha Singh belongs to a small family village near Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. His family doesn't own any land, so they do all odd jobs for the big farmers. That means Lakha Singh is a landless farmer. He doesn't have his own land, so whatever work he gets in a day, that he does. Maybe sometimes he works under the landowners, big farmers, money lenders. He works whatever work he gets. Work is erratic. That means he doesn't get work regularly. Sometimes he gets, sometimes he doesn't get. So sometimes he gets income, sometimes he doesn't get income. What he is earning? At times they get paid rupees 50 for a hard day's work. After working whole day for about more than 8 hours or 9 hours, he gets only rupees 50 per day. But often it's in kind. Now, what do you mean by it? Sometimes the wages are paid in cash. Sometimes the wages are paid in kind also. Kind means sometimes he may get some clothes instead of his work which he has done. Sometimes he gets paid in the form of food, maybe some wheat, some dal he gets from the owner. That is what we call it as payment in kind. Instead of getting money, he gets sometimes paid in kind. Maybe some wheat, some dal, some vegetables he gets after working throughout the day. The family of 8. How many members are there in his family? 8 members. They cannot always even manage 2 square meals a day. They cannot even have properly 2 times proper food. And where does Laka live? Does Laka live in a big house? No. He lives in a kacha hut. Kacha hut means anytime it can come down. Even if there is a small storm or a wind, his hut will come down. That is what is called as a kacha house. He lives in a kacha hut. The women of the family spend the day chopping fodder and collecting firewood in the fields. The women who are there in his family, maybe his wife and sister, what do? They chop the fodder, they collect the firewood from the fields. His father is a TB patient, tuberculosis, passed away 2 years ago due to lack of medication. Father died because they could not afford to go to the doctors. His mother also is suffering from the same disease, and slowly her life is also going away. Maybe she may die. Although the village has a primary school, in this village there is a primary school, but Laka never went there. He had to start earning when he was just 10 years old. He himself, when he was 10 years old, he started earning. So he has never seen the school. New clothes happen once in a few years, maybe after some years, when the old one completely gets torn, then only they buy the new clothes. And the last point, even soap and oil are not there in his family. That means even that is luxury for the family. That means they can't even afford to buy soap and oil. Now, from these two stories, children, what do we sum up from the two stories? Both the stories are related to the poverty. So, what are the terms we come across in these stories? Children are not able to go to the school. Children do not have proper health care facilities. Children are suffering from the undernourishment. They have very less income. Even they cannot have 2 square meals a day properly. They do not have the proper clothes also. Even soap and oil are luxury for them. So what does all this show? These all show that the two families are below the poverty line. After studying both these cases or the stories, these following issues are related with the poverty. From the two stories, what do we sum up? These points are there. The first point is landlessness. We have seen that the rural person in the story, he doesn't have land, so he is below the poverty line. The farmers in our country, there are so many farmers who do not have the land of their own, due to which they suffer, and they have to do all kind of odd jobs for even very less wages. That is why they are below the poverty. Next one, unemployment. We have seen that they do not have a regular employment. Sometimes, even whether it is Laka Singh or the other one, both of them, they don't have a regular employment. Sometimes they find the work, sometimes they don't find the work. So the time when they are unemployed, they don't even get those 2 square meals a day. So unemployment is also an issue which is related to poverty. If a person is not working, he will not earn. So he will be below under the poverty line. Size of family. In both the cases we have seen, the size of family is big. In one family there are 6, and one family there are 8 people. When the size of family is big and the earning members are only 1 or 2, that too with very less income, definitely the family will be below the poverty line, because whatever these two persons are earning, that has to be shared among those 8 people. But if the family size is small, say if there are only 4 people in the family and 2 are earning, then the family will not be below the poverty line. So the size of family is also a big issue. Generally we see in our country, the poor families, their family sizes are big. So that is why they are below the poverty line. Then the next issue is illiteracy. We have studied a big chapter on this, chapter 2, people as a resource. If people are educated, they are able to work efficiently. They are skillful, they'll be able to work efficiently, they will earn more income. But if a person is illiterate, then the person is unskilled labor. The person do not have any skills because the person is illiterate. And unskilled labor get low income in our country or low wages in our country. In any country, it's not that only in our country. In any country, they get low wages. So that is one more issue which is related with this. Then we have poor health or malnutrition. Again, we did in the chapter 2, health is again a very, very important issue. We have seen in chapter 2 the stories of Sakal and Vilas, where we have seen that Sakal was healthy and Vilas was not healthy. So if a person is unhealthy or is not having a proper nutritious food, then the person will not be able to work efficiently. The person will fall sick every time and he is not be able to earn a better income or better wages. So if a person is healthy, the person will work efficiently and definitely he'll earn a better income. Next point which is related with poverty is child labor. We have seen in the story a boy of 10 years old is working as a child labor in a tea stall and just earning rupees 300 per month. Children below the 14 years, if they work, they are called as child labor. But there is no other alternative way for that family. Their income is so low that they cannot afford to send their children to the school. So children are made to work. If they are not working, then they will not be able to survive. So poverty is related with the child labor also. Next one is helplessness, which I can say that it is the most important issue related with the poverty. The worst thing is that these people who are below poverty line, they are not able to come out of the poverty. They are not able to help themselves. They are so helpless. For example, nobody wants to beg, nobody wants to work as a cobbler. But they are doing all these odd jobs because they do not find any other alternative work. And if they don't do these jobs, then they will die of starvation. So they are helpless to do such works. They are helpless to do work under the money lenders for 12 hours, 14 hours and just earning rupees 50 per day. So these are the issues which are related with the poverty. And you can even say that they are the causes of poverty also. They are the causes of poverty, they are consequences of the poverty also. Because of poverty, these issues are there. Or you can say in another way, because of these issues, there is poverty. That means if a person is landless, he will be poor. Or in other ways, you can say that he is poor, that is why he is landless. So these issues are either they are also the causes of the poverty, as well as they are even the consequences of the poverty also. Consequences means result of or the effects of the poverty also. So these two typical cases illustrate many dimensions of poverty. They tell us about many of the dimensions of the poverty. Now, what are these dimensions of poverty? They show that what is the meaning of poverty. As we discussed just now, they show different meanings of poverty. They show that poverty means hunger and lack of shelter. It is also a situation in which parents are not able to send their children to the school. So poverty also means this, that the parents are not able to send their children to school. Poverty also means where sick people cannot afford the treatment. They are not able to go to even a doctor and get the medicines. Poverty also means lack of clean water. They don't get even the clean drinking water. And they do not have proper sanitation facilities also. So they are living in unhygienic conditions, because of which they can get so many diseases. Poverty also means lack of regular job. We have seen in the cases, both the cases, they do not have a regular job. Sometimes they find work, sometimes they don't find work, and that too at a very low wages, minimum decent level. Very low wages, 50 per day, which is a very low wage. Above all, it also means a sense of helplessness, which I have talked about just now. They are not able to help themselves and come out of that situation of poverty. So poor people are in a situation in which they are ill treated at almost. It's not that they are only poor by income. Many poor people in India are socially also treated very badly in our country. In their workplaces, they are treated so badly. They are ill treated. Maybe they are working in farms, factories, government hospitals, offices, railway stations. Everywhere these poor people are ill treated by the rich people. Obviously, that is the reason nobody wants to live in poverty. If this question is asked to anybody, that do anybody want to live in poverty, everybody will say no. Definitely. So one of the biggest challenge of independent India has been to bring this poverty to the lower level. That is to reduce this poverty, to remove this poverty from our country. And in this regard, Mahatma Gandhi has said, he has insisted that India would be truly independent only when the poorest of its people become free of human suffering. We got independence from the British rule, but we have not got independence from the poverty. Still, we have seen 27 crore people are below the poverty line. That means, that is why Mahatma Gandhi said our country will be really or truly independent only when the people will not suffer. Human suffering. There is no human suffering. Nobody is ill. Even if they are ill, they should be able to afford to go to a doctor. Everybody should be able to go to the school. The children should be able to go to the school. So that is what. So there should be no suffering with the human beings. That's how we talk about the change in the term of poverty. So in the next video, we'll continue with how the term poverty is seen by social scientists, how it has undergone changes, and then we'll proceed with the terms like vulnerability and social exclusion, which are the major causes and consequences of poverty. I hope children you have followed. Go through the both the stories again. You will follow and write the meaning of poverty in your own terms or own words. That's all children for today. Have a good day, students.